The Episcopal Church's recent General Convention ended July 17th in Anaheim, California. Most of the events that happened at the 76th General Convention happened right here at the Anaheim Convention Center. For 2 weeks, the building and its nearby hotels were home to many things: a worship space, a marketplace, legislative chambers, offices, a print shop, a newsroom, and a town square where thousands of people came to have a say in what the Episcopal Church will look like and stand for in the next 3 years. We did what church people do. We worshiped together, talked with each other, broke bread together, not always agreeing with each other, but managing to find common ground on most issues. So, what happened at General Convention? The budget for the next 3 years suffered cuts, deep cuts in some areas, such as evangelism and mission offices. In fact, the bottom line has shrunk $23 million since it was proposed in January. The church will ask for less money from dioceses over the triennium. More than 30 of the staff at the Episcopal Church Center in New York will lose their jobs, and many programs still in place will have far less money to work with. Some of the specific issues tackled at convention: the church has mandated that congregations and dioceses must offer health care coverage and pension plans to lay employees. It paved the way for changes in the way church deals with clergy disciplinary matters. We saw a recommitment to eliminating racism in the church, funding anti-poverty ministries and outreach to the Hispanic community. Convention approved enough new liturgies to fill a book, 2 books, in fact. It took another small step toward the possible future blessing of same-sex unions by ordering that liturgical and theological resources be gathered for study. The resolution C056 recognizes that blessings are a fact of life in states where same-sex marriage is legal and allows bishops to approve what it calls a generous pastoral response in those cases. The convention also approved a heavily nuanced statement that, in essence, tells the rest of the Anglican Communion where the Episcopal Church is at the moment on the issue of full inclusion of gays and lesbians. This resolution, D025, says the Episcopal Church recognizes there are faithful, baptized members of the Church living in committed same-sex relationships, and the gays and lesbians are already participating in many ministries, including ordained ministry. It also says not everyone in the Episcopal Church agrees with this, but says we all want to be full members of the Anglican Communion. Please read the actual resolutions, which are posted on the Episcopal Church website. Once you're there, you can look at every resolution considered by convention. But perhaps more enduring than resolutions are the messages of God's love, affirmation, and mission heard during worship events. Here's a sample.
The day will come soon, when future generations will look back on what we have been doing here. And yet, they will consider our folly on a planet that is but a burnt cinder compared to the garden that has allowed us the luxury to have these self-same debates. Hear me. They will live in a world in which wars over water will make ours over oil pale in comparison. And as the vast world around us is swept by storms unstoppable that lay waste the very food that will sustain humanity, millions will perish in famines unimaginable.
If you don't want GLBT folks as bishops, don't ordain them as deacons. Better yet, be honest and say, we don't want you, you don't belong here, and don't bestow upon them the sacrament of baptism to begin with. How can you initiate someone and then treat them like they're half-ass baptized?
So many people need what we've got. They're spiritual wayfarers who are already looking for us. would love to join a church that's ready to love them back. We don't know who they are yet, and they don't yet know that we're here. We've got a calling for the 21st century. It's the same calling as it was in the first century, as it was in 1534, and yet the world we head out into to do our work is changing all the time. We've got the knack of standing on both those platforms at the same time. We can do it. Cling to what's eternal, understand what's changing, and open those arms as Benedict would have 1,400 years ago and say, welcome, you're home. Amen.
Well, this is it, the last day of convention. These two bodies have done a lot of work here, and in 3 years they'll reconvene in Indianapolis, Indiana, with a budget that will almost ensure a scaled-down, more focused, and possibly shorter 77th General Convention. In Anaheim, California, I'm Jim DeLong from the Diocese of Southwest Florida.